All right, joining us now for a reaction, Fox News contributor Leo Terrell and deputy editor of RedState Kira Davis. Thank you both for joining us. Leo, I should say. Sorry, Leo. I got to tell you, doesn't instill a lot of confidence anytime Kamala Harris comes to the mic and starts explaining U.S. policy?
I'll tell you, Jason, she gave me a headache because honestly, she's Captain Obvious. She doesn't give any insight. She doesn't tell the American public anything of an informative nature. She has nothing to bring to the table. And I think it's embarrassing that we avoid, not this station or not this network, but we avoid the obvious. She was selected for the wrong reason. She was selected because of her gender and her skin color, and that was the only reason. She's not qualified, and she has a difficult time trying to articulate on issues that she doesn't have any knowledge on. And what's happening is, you saw Andrea Mitchell. Andrea Mitchell has an obligation to challenge her, but they won't, because she's shielded by her skin color and her gender. When she said, for example, the balloon wasn't helpful, I mean, the balloon has feelings? What did she mean by that? Can she articulate something of at least of a college nature? It sounds so rudimentary as to what she's articulating. I don't even know what she means. We shot it down, as you articulated. That balloon could have been shot down before it reached continental America. But she insults the intelligence, Jason, of the American people. And I'm sick and tired of her being basically shielded because of her gender and identity. That's why you don't pick people on gender identity. You pick people based on qualifications.
Kira, what do you think of that? Because, I mean, at one point, the vice president said, let us be clear, we shot down the balloon because it needed to be shot down. That's not an explanation of why we shot it down. That's just restating what happened. We shot it down because we needed to shoot it down. But the question is why?
Right. Oh, thank you so much, Vice President Harris. That is certainly a lot more clear. And let me be clear. Every time you hear Kamala Harris say, let me be clear, it means she's going to be the exact opposite. But isn't the way she sounds, isn't that very symbolic of this entire administration? It feels like the entire country is in chaos right now. It feels like everything is falling apart. I believe that part of this disaster of the spy balloon, part of this story, is that our government is not coordinated. Our government is not communicating with each other through different departments. I think there is a huge chasm between the White House and every other major department in this country. We have people making decisions, and they're not consulting other departments. They're not consulting the White House. They're certainly not consulting Kamala Harris. I mean, the way she talks is really just symbolic of the utter state of confusion that the White House is in right now and our American government is in right now. And, you know, and the sad thing is her boss is even worse.
Yeah. Leo, look, Kamala Harris, among the many duties of the vice president, so demanding that job, is she's supposed to be our border czar. She keeps telling us that climate change is driving people from all over the place, and this is why millions of people are traveling north. Of course, she doesn't spend any time with the Border Patrol, but it is just malpractice that the Democrats didn't hold a single hearing about this crisis on the southern border for 2 years. And then Jim Jordan gives them a 3-week notice and says, all right, we're going to have a field hearing on the ground by the border, and the Democrats boycott it. What in the world are we supposed to think about how much the Democrats care about illegal immigration and all the problems that surround it? They don't care. Fentanyl. I mean, all of these things are tied together, and yet the Democrats don't even participate in a congressional hearing where both sides can ask questions.
Well, let's be very clear. There's no need to mislead the viewers. They want open borders, Jason. They want open border. You've said it. She has done absolutely nothing to secure the border. Why? First question in law school, because they have no intention on securing the border. We had a president before them who secured the border. They want open border. They want the traffic, the drug trafficking, the sex trafficking to go through our southern border. Kamala Harris has no intention. All she's focusing on is maintaining her position in that number 2 slot. I have nightmares of the idea of her being in that number 2 slot. You know, we have an incompetent president, but Just think of Kamala Harris in that number 2 slot for the next 2 years. That is the most frightening thing. And as Kira says, the entire White House administration is off base. Again, gender and color is the reason why she's the vice president. Look at our press secretary. A national embarrassment when she was talking about NORAD. It's an embarrassment. I'm sick of the Democrats playing equity politics and picking people on race and color. That has to stop, and it's quite embarrassing for those who are of those particular characteristics who are more qualified.
Well, and I think there is a case to be made that it is somewhat coordinated, particularly as it relates to the southern border. You have Secretary Mayorkas saying the border is secure, but it's obviously not. You have the vice president who's doing absolutely nothing except traveling to Central America once and then holding some phone calls. But, you know, the president at the State of the Union goes out and talks about the scourge of fentanyl. But where do they think that fentanyl is created and then transported and brought across our borders? You talk to the Border Patrol, it's coming through our porous southern border, and they're not doing anything about it. So Jim Jordan does the right thing. He's holding a hearing, and no Democrat's going to show up by choice. That's got to be a message to the American people, right, Kira?
Absolutely. I mean, I was infuriated to hear the president talk like he cares at all what's happening at the border. I live in California. This is a border state, and we are dealing with the crushing consequences of an unregulated, unmatched drug trade that it's just flowing across our border. So it was infuriating to him to steal Republican talking points, but then to sit here in this border state and know that there's we're helpless. As the American people, we are helpless right now, and it feels it's not just embarrassing, but it's also insulting. You know, we elect these leaders to protect us. We might not always agree on politics, but our national border should be an easy point of agreement. It should be one thing we can all agree on, that if we don't have borders, we don't have a nation. But again, I do believe that this is just I agree with Leo, this is part of the Democrats' plan. I mean, they've always been open borders, but also when they can sow chaos in our states and our city centers, they take advantage of that chaos. Obama himself pointed out that strategy right in his now famous quote, "You never let a good crisis go to waste." And Democrats can't win on their plans because their plans suck and their plans don't work. So what do? They have to create crisis so that Americans feel fear, and then Americans vote based on fear. And as you know, Jason, no good decisions are made out of fear. But we are living in an America that is being led by fearful politicians and politicians who also politic in the currency of fear.
Well, look, it was a horrific week for Biden and Harris. And the way they treated those people in Ohio and Pennsylvania and did not respond, I tell you, it could be nothing worse than that. I feel for those people there. God bless you. You're dealing with a horrific tragedy, and the federal government, Biden and Harris, are absolutely nowhere. Leo and Kira, thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.